speed talk, guys, okay?
All right, welcome to our team call for September 10th. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, where did this year go? We're like in the home stretch, last quarter of the year. Crazy. I'm going to be making a post on the team page if you guys want to connect about Q4 goals, because I think it's a really good time to like set your intentions for what you want to accomplish by the end of the year, and like let's renew our spirits and our energy, even though we're all exhausted right now, and we'll figure out something to push for, because it is all too easy to just kind of coast through the rest of the year if we don't have some kind of a game plan. So a couple of things before we get started. I just wanted to make sure you guys know that on the 14th, the sample of the 30-day breakaway program, the running program, is going to be open to try that out. We also have team bingo going on this month. If you guys missed it, I made a business bingo challenge this month, and it has a lot of fun stuff on it. The intention is to have fun together as a team, but there's things on here about sharing the coaching opportunity, sharing your story, inviting, new challengers, inviting coaches to meet the team event. So it's really action oriented to help you grow your businesses. And I ordered fun little decals, go-getter decals, for those of you that mark off at least 3 sections or 3 lines of the bingo challenge by the end of this month. So if you missed that, you can check it out. It's in the files of the team page. Pumpkin spice has launched. If you haven't grabbed yours yet, I haven't heard that it has sold out. Has anybody else? It's still rocking, I think. Okay. And then I have an exciting announcement. If anybody else has any, you can go after me, but I have to shout out Miss Ashley Halligan tonight. She is our newest diamond coach on the team, and I am just insanely proud of her. This has been a long time coming, something she's been working at very hard for a very long time. And she'll tell you it has not been an easy journey for her, but she is just resilient and determined and consistent. And no matter how many times she feels like she's hit a wall, she gets back up and she runs for it again. And we are celebrating you and your consistency and your achievement tonight. And that is why I have wine. It is for you. But I'm also going to cheers to Kathy, because now Kathy is an author tonight. So we're going to cheers to you too. Congrats, Ashley. Does anybody else have any exciting announcements they want to shout out tonight? Okay. If not, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. So as you guys know, we have our Meet the Team events running every single month. These are our awesome Meet the Teams that we host, where a couple of the coaches on our teams share their stories to teach all about what the opportunity of coaching is about. This literally does the work for us. If you invite to these, you get people on them. It explains what we do as coaches, how we earn income, the profound impact it's had on our lives, and how this could be something that other people would incredibly benefit from too, right? What we need to be working on, and I'm going to actually share a document with you guys the beginning of next week or tomorrow if I can get it done, but of just sample examples of how to break down sharing the coaching opportunity more in your posts and in your stories, so that leading up to these events, it's consistently being put out there, so that when these events roll around, you have a whole ton of people to go talk to and invite to about it. That's part of why I asked Kathy to come on and share with us tonight. Kathy actually came into the business 2 months after I did. And I remember, because I was like, who is this chick that came out of nowhere, who was at the top of the Success Club boards, just like running on fire, hitting diamond, hitting star diamond. She became a 6-figure earner within her first year of coaching. And she's just an incredible leader. She's an awesome mom. She's a wife. She's a mom of 3. To give you a little bit of her background, she's a former elementary teacher for 10 years. She's a Success Club 10 legend, a 3-time elite, 10-star, actually 13-star diamond combined. And Kathy and I would say maybe a couple months ago, we had a chat, because I was like, Kathy, I'm like, what are you doing? I've been watching your social media. Like, you are on fire. I'm in her team page. So I see all these like new coaches are popping and people are hitting Success Club and rank advancing. And I'm like, what are you doing? She shared about this training she's in. But it's not only cool to have seen Kathy dive in and had this massive success from the get-go, but we both kind of went through like a 2-year slump where like life happens and shit falls apart and coaches quit and things get hard, right? And if you're in this business for the long term, you're going to have to reinvent yourself, or you're going to have to rebuild at some point. And Kathy is such an incredible example of that as well, because she has completely reinvented her business, or brought her team back to life, and she is growing faster than ever. And so I asked her to come share tonight a little bit about the mindset it takes to have success in this business, but also how to recruit like a rock star, because that's something she's really good at. So thanks, Kathy, for coming.
Thanks for all that. You totally buttered me up, made me feel all good. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on. It's nice to see so many familiar faces, especially after being here for 6 years. I feel like you really start to get to know everybody really well. And I'm going to share some pretty awesome things with you guys tonight too. Specifically, yes, definitely about recruiting and bringing on business building coaches. But really the piece that I think you're going to resonate with the most was how quickly I fell flat on my face and how hard I failed, and how I actually overcame that, and didn't just stop or quit altogether, because I feel like this is like a common theme just with everybody in life, right? If you come to a roadblock or a challenge in your life, it is easier to just stop what you're doing. But the thing is with that is that if you do that, then you're never really getting to the root of the actual problem, which is something internally with yourself. And if you just stop and walk away and don't fix it and get to that problem and push through it, even if it's painful, the next time in your life when that next roadblock for something else comes up, you're going to always go back and handle it the exact same way that you just handled that very first event that happened to you. So it's funny now how it's changed for me over the past 6 years. You heard all those accolades and all that stuff that Dana said at the beginning and all that. That's all great. And at the beginning, when I first started this business, I spent all of my time talking to other teams in the network about how to gain fast success and how to get momentum going right out of the gate. And it was all about positive mindset and how, you're limitless and you can do anything you put your mind to. And that was the theme, right? And then that changed recently. And over the past year now, I've been doing this new call, which I'm going to share with you guys. And I know that this is going to help all of you in some way, whether you've already gone through this or maybe you're in it right now. It happens to all of us. So I'm just going to kind of share exactly what I went through, how I overcame it, how it's going to help you, and then how I came out on the other side now and have been able to like revive my whole team and just my whole entire business over this past year. So you're going to want to definitely take notes. The first thing that I really want you to write down, this was key for me, was you are the thinker of your thoughts. Okay. This is something really, really important that I'm going to talk about as this call goes on, but you are the thinker of your thoughts. Write that down and just kind of keep it there with you. And another word I want you to write down too is positive mindset. Okay. Write that one down and keep it with you as well. So at the beginning, right, everyone was blown away with how fast you were moving. You heard what Dana was saying. Who the hell is this girl? What are they doing? Like, oh my God, this is crazy. It was the question that like everybody in the network, asked. And here's the thing, right? When that's happening and you're having fast success or any kind of success in your business, right? How do you feel about that? You feel awesome, right? You're on cloud 9. The thoughts that you're thinking in your mind at that time when you're seeing success are like, I'm awesome. Like, I can do this. Like, I am a great coach. I am going to go all the way. I can do this too. I am limitless. Like, you're thinking all of these positive things because you are having success and things are going well. And so your confidence is up. And when this is happening in any area of your life, but specifically this business, it's easy for everybody to show up during those times. How could you not, right? When everything's going great. And that's how I started. I started like that. And it's easy to show up. It's fun. The momentum's there. All that stuff is going great. It's going in your favor. You're signing people up left and right. Maybe you're even a brand new coach. You hit Success Club the first month. You hit that first goal of Emerald Coach, right? You're on fire. You have that belief is really what it comes down to in yourself and what you're capable of doing. And here's the thing. I had that unwavering faith and belief in myself for a long time, right? Just like I'm sure all of you have now or had at one point or another. It's that unwavering faith or belief in yourself. And when you have that kind of faith and belief in yourself, you're not only just signing up a lot of people, right? But you're getting a lot more yeses. You're getting a lot more quality people. You're getting people who are drawn to you. And not because you're really doing anything special, guys, but at the end of the day, it's because you have excitement and you have energy. And that's something that you can't fake. You can make the world's best post. You can write the world's best message to invite somebody. But if you don't really back it with 100% belief and you have that confidence and energy, just going through the motions isn't going to cut it for you. It's that peace in your mind that you have to have mastered first. And I had that right at the beginning. So it was easy to show up. And I'm sure you guys can all relate to that. When things are going well, you want to show up. You want to do the work, right? You want to show up and take the action that you need to take to build your business. But then what happens, guys, when you hit a major roadblock? Like, what happens when life hits you? And then all of a sudden you lose that confidence. What about now you've lost that belief in yourself? What about now you're questioning whether or not you can actually really do this or not? What if you just don't want to do it anymore? Because of the amount of confidence that I had in myself and the momentum that we had. And it was something that I heard other leaders in the company always talk about, just like how I'm talking to you right now. And I remember hearing it about failures and things like that, but I just never really wrapped my brain around it and thought it would happen to me. Boy, was I woken up real fast. So then that happened, and it happened to me, and I kept myself stuck for 2.5 years in this business. 2.5 years, a 2.5 year plateau. And the thing that was driving me freaking nuts was that I had no idea why. Like, I was stuck and I had no idea how to get out of it, which I'm going to share tonight, which is going to be the most powerful piece of this entire call, because it's what's going to be able to help you not stay stuck for 2.5 years like I did, and be able to work through.
Like I hear it, but I don't.
Work through those tough times as they come into your business. So most people, guys, they would have quit, right? Ask yourself, if you were stuck for 2.5 years, would you still be here? Most people definitely would have quit. But in my core, I do not quit. And I do not quit. And I always
meeting for people.
I'm sharing about the business opportunity. I always say that I want people on my team that have that no quit attitude. I want those people that are okay with things being hard, but they're willing to work through it because they have a no quit attitude. And I don't think that I would have still been here if it weren't for that and me determining that before I even signed up to become a coach. Like, I made that decision on freaking day 0 before I signed up that I am going to do this. I know I would be awesome, and I am not quitting. And I already told my brain that before I did a thing or knew anything about this. And that, I think, is critical to it. That's just how I am. When I start something, I believe in finishing it. And it's something that my parents taught me, and it's something that I teach my kids. And I think it's really important that you teach yourself that as well. So the thing that was driving me nuts, guys, was that I was so stuck and I was feeling so crappy about myself for so long. And the thing is that while this was happening, I was seeing other people having success. So I was like, I know it's not the business is broken. If other people are doing it, that is your key that you can do it too. So I was like, I know that I can do this because other people are coming in and they're having success all the time. But I was, and I was still going through the motions, guys, as this was happening. So I never stopped building my business or anything like that by any means. I was still hitting Success Club 10. I was still bringing on business building coaches, but it was going through the motions. I was barely hitting Success Club 10. I was bringing on coaches who weren't really serious. The quality of them was just not great, right? And I mean, could you blame it? I had no belief in myself. I was just kind of going through the motions, and that's just not good enough, right? We know that. We know that going through the motions isn't good enough. You need that excitement. I did not have that excitement at all. It was a chore for me to show up to the business. It was something that I didn't look forward to. My entire mindset around it completely changed from something that I loved doing. I want to do it 24/7. I will do it even when I'm on vacation. Like if I could have my best day away, it would be me sitting in a hotel bed, seriously, working my business, right? That's how I was. That's how I am now again. But for that period, I was not. I was like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to deal with it. It's too painful. I can't handle it. So then I had these series of things that started to happen. And the problem is that when I started having these things happen to me now, I started to make them mean something negative about myself. I made them mean something negative about me as a coach. I started to associate myself as a failure because of these things that were happening. And I just kept kind of telling myself that I wasn't meant for long-term success in this. That is literally the story that I told myself. You're clearly not meant for long-term success with this. I had tons of self-doubt. I was in a really negative headspace, which was driving me crazy because I'm a really positive, upbeat person. But when it came to like what I was going through, I was in just a real bad negative headspace. So when we had rose to that 10-star diamond rank, in the first 13 months of the business that I was, doing this, and, we had crazy fast success. It was like diamond in 11 days, 2-star in like 54 days, like, crazy success. But once I hit that 10-star diamond rank at the 13-month mark, then all of a sudden I started having coaches quit and stuff like that. And the thing is, I was feeling like they're quitting because of me. I made them quitting mean that I'm not obviously a good coach, because why would they quit? If I was a good coach, if I was a great leader, wouldn't everyone want to stay? And now I know that that is not true. Okay. And when you're feeling like crap like this about yourself, like how does it really want to make you show up to your business? Right? You either barely do anything, you do it inconsistently, or you just decide to just avoid it and do nothing at all. So at the time, I was in and out of workout programs. I wasn't giving people a journey to follow at all, which is like the foundation for this entire business. I was just in and out of programs, I had gained 30 pounds. So I was the heaviest I had ever been. Major downward spiral. I had both my dogs during this time had died within a 5-week span. They were like my first babies, right? So I was going through that. We had moved from our house in Massachusetts down to our home in Florida, which was a positive because of this business. But again, moving is like one of the biggest life changes and most stressful things that you can go through, even if you want it, right? We had been trying for baby number 3 for an entire year with 4 miscarriages. And then when I finally got pregnant with, baby number 3, that's when the shit really hit the fan. I was 34 weeks pregnant. I had found out that my dad was diagnosed with leukemia, and he was going to be treated at Mass General in Boston, obviously Mass General, duh. And, and we relocated our entire family from Florida all the way up to Massachusetts, where I delivered Keegan, enrolled the kids in school, lived there for 7 months. I mean, it was the lowest of the low. It was all these things. I mean, it was, people have stuff that happens. It's just how it goes, right? When it rains, right, exactly. When it rains, it pours. It's like, Jesus Christ. It was just a crap show. And it was driving me nuts because I've always been the kind of person, like the no excuses kind of person. Like, if you want it, just freaking do it. Like, what's your problem? I don't understand. So that piece was really, really driving me nuts. I'm more of like the kind of like, just suck it up and do the damn thing. Like, do you really want to change your life or not? That's kind of like how I talk to myself in my mind, right? So this was driving me completely nuts, and I'm a major control freak too. So my OCD was kicking in hardcore at this point. So it was the lowest of the low. And so what I started to do, because I was making myself feel so bad about the situation, was now I was starting to actually justify justify it all. So I'd say things to myself like, well, it's okay that I'm not really where I thought I should be at this point. Like, how many times do you hear your coaches say, I'm just going to stop, I'm just going to quit? I mean, I should have been here by now. I've been doing this for 3 years. Or I should be here, but I'm not, right? How many times do we say that to ourselves, or do we hear our coaches say? I mean, I hear it all the time, almost every single day. And I was saying that to myself, right? Like, but you know what? I didn't have big goals when I came into this business. I was telling myself now, I only wanted to make a couple $100 every single month. So, this has blessed our family in more ways than I could have ever imagined. Can't you just be grateful for that? Just appreciate where you are. And I was accepting the fact that I wasn't growing and just making up excuses for it. And the thing is, guys, is when you're stagnant, it sucks. The business sucks. It's not fun. But when you're growing, it's so much fun, right? It's tons of fun. That's where you feel at your best. That's where you feel super confident, right? And I was spending so much time, guys, dwelling in the past at all the things that had happened, that it was literally robbing me from being in the present and using that as an opportunity where I could actually grow and change my situation. So this is where I stayed for 2.5 years. And then at the beginning of last September, when we were in Massachusetts and the kids were at school, we had just dropped them off, and me and my husband and Keegan, we went for a little walk around Ponce Hewitt, is like the field it's called. We would go for our walks there every day. And I'd always listen to personal development because I was always trying to fix my mind, like, get yourself out of this. That's one thing I never stop. And I highly encourage you guys to do that. I honestly don't think, like, if you're not working on your mind, when you go through these things, you might as well hang it up. You have to be doing personal development because you're not going to be able to fix yourself. Like, you need an outside perspective, and you need to work that muscle every single day and teach it and train it how to grow so you can overcome these situations. And I had just so happened to, thank God, had been listening to this podcast episode, and I'm going to tell you which one it was. It was the Mind Your Business podcast, it's called. He's really, really great podcast, the Mind Your Business podcast, and it was episode 114. Okay, and the name of it was How to Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind for Automatic Lasting High. So the Mind Your Business podcast episode number 114, How to Reprogram Your Subconscious Mind for Automatic Lasting High. And all of a sudden, I'm walking around just like every other day, and he said that one line, that you are the thinker of your thoughts. And all of a sudden, I had Nick pause it, and I stopped myself in the middle of the tracks, and I was like, oh my God, I have literally been self-sabotaging myself, not just in the business, but my entire freaking life. All of these little scenarios that have happened to me through my life started to all of a sudden pop in my brain. I was like, oh my gosh. I remember growing up, I was, on the basketball team. I started when I was in 3rd grade. I played all the way up to high school. I was one of the best players on the team, the highest point earners. I'd be in the newspaper all the time. I played the whole game. That was my jam. That was like my strength, and I was doing awesome at it. And then this other girl came around. And she was doing better than me. And the coach stopped playing me as much. And I took that as, I'm not that great. And I finished the season, and I quit basketball and never went back. One of the regrets I have. Not again. Nobody ever told me that I wasn't good at basketball. People always told me how awesome I was at it. But I didn't. I told myself and made that out to mean that I'm not that great. Obviously, I suck at basketball. Might as well just quit. And I did. I didn't quit in the middle of the season. I finished the season. I didn't go back my senior year. That was the first thing. And I started to look at other things in my life. I did the same thing when I was teaching. I always had all these amazing write-ups from the people who would come and observe me, and these just amazing things. I felt good about myself. I felt like, yeah, I'm a pretty spectacular teacher. Because it doesn't matter, guys, at the end of the day, what people praise you for. What matters most is the praise that you give yourself. That's what matters. And I was giving myself that praise. And I had an observation. He was a newbie. He had never been a principal before. And I was his very first observation. Lucky me. And he didn't PB and jelly it, guys, okay? He didn't pull me in after and tell me the good and then the constructive criticism and then the good. Instead, he laid down all the bad. And I literally remember looking at him sitting at the table being like, so basically what you're saying is you think I suck? I was so bent out of shape about this. And again, he never said that. He never told me that I wasn't a great teacher, that I sucked. Everyone knew that I was a wonderful teacher. People would request me to have for their kids. But I was telling myself this story just because of the constructive criticism that he gave me. You see, these are all literally made up stories that I was telling myself that were making me feel like crap because they were negative thoughts. And it was just creating this negative story in my mind. And I didn't even want to teach anymore after that. I lost confidence in myself as a teacher. So when I heard this, that day when I was walking around, that was my epiphany where I was like, oh my gosh, I have been literally telling myself lies my entire life. I was mind blown by this. I was like, I have been like torturing myself and making myself feel bad when I don't even need to. Like they're all made up stories. And it was literally at that moment, like I was literally making myself be like, you're not good enough. You're not enough. Like you're not a great coach. You're never going to go as far as you thought you were. Like just be happy where you are. And I would never quit, but that was the story I was telling myself. And guys, this is the thing is that every day, all of you, no matter what happens, we're getting thoughts about those things. And we're creating all these different little stories all the time. And we're either making them mean something good or we're making them mean something not good. And if the stories and the thoughts that you're having are good thoughts and you're feeling awesome, it's going to inspire you to show up and want to take action, right? And want to show up to your business. But if the thoughts that you're telling yourself are negative and they're not making you feel good, that's where they're going to start to paralyze you, right? Think about reaching out and inviting somebody to the business opportunity right now. Like, what's your first thought? Like if I hang up and I say to you, all right, I want every single one of you right now to go private message 10 people tonight to learn more about the business opportunity. What's your very first thought? Because that says it all right there, right? Are you like, oh, hell no, I can't think of 10 people. There it is. It's the limiting belief in the story that you're telling yourself right there. It's going to keep you stuck versus the person who's like, all right, I got this. 10 people it is. I'll message you as soon as I got those 10 names down. So, where was I here? What I didn't know, this was the key to it all, guys. All right. I did not understand really that going through the failures were more important than having the successes. I didn't realize that it was so critical to go through failures, like not just be confronted with them, but work through them and come out on the other side if I wanted to keep growing. I looked at the failures as bad things, and not just bad things, but I made them mean bad things about myself. And that's what I want you guys to think about. The failures are inevitable. Every single one of us is going to have them. And it's what you make them mean about you is the key. Are you going to look at them as just facts and be like, okay, this is here for me to teach me something. Let's work my way through it, even though it's going to be painful. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be painful. It's going to be hard, right? But are you going to be willing to go through that so that you can grow and get to that next level? Because I can promise you, for as long as you refuse to go through it, you're going to be exactly where you are and you're going to stay there. And I don't want you guys stuck in the same place for 2.5 years like I was. We don't want that. We want this to be a short little blip of time that you go through these things. Yes, the meaning that we give to the failures. And you either get what you want or you get what you need. And the reason why I was stuck for so long is because I needed to keep in this phase to really, really understand that you have to be careful, Kathy, with these thoughts that you're putting in your mind, that you're letting go into your brain. Like, don't be on such autopilot all the time. And when you hear that negative thought go into your mind, you need to catch it right away and turn it into something positive, because your subconscious mind is so powerful. And I didn't learn that lesson. I didn't learn that lesson. I wasn't grasping the idea that the failures were not me being a failure, that they were just there to help me grow to get to the next level, because I got big goals, y'all. Anybody else have big goals around here? Whoop. You got to go through these things. That's right. You have to work through them. So sometimes, guys, it's a hard pill to swallow. And like I said, it's definitely not easy to go through. It was definitely one of the hardest things I had to go through. But no matter what happens every day, you're going to go through these things anyways. You're going to have these thoughts. You're going to have the people tell you no. You're going to have the coaches quit. You're going to have your BFF sign up and tell you that they're going to be with you till the end. And they're going to go through a time like this, and they're not going to be able to go through it. But you need to go through it so that you can help your team go through it. That's why I lost so many people back in the day. I couldn't help myself, right? I could not help myself go through it. So how was I supposed to help other people when they're going through it? Now I can use this, and when I see someone on my team going through this, I know I can't make them do anything. I know it's not up to me to have my coaches be successful, just like it's not your job to make your coaches successful. It's not your fault if they fail. It's not your responsibility if they succeed. It's just our job to give them the tools to succeed and set them up for the best possible way to succeed. But at the end of the day, they have to be the one that is willing to work through it and be teachable and go through the actions and put in the work. So now, by going through all these tough times, myself and you, when you go through them, you're going to be able to help people go through them even faster. So when I had this epiphany, immediately I was like, oh my God, I can totally do this. Like, my thoughts immediately changed from like, I can't do this. I'm never going to be able to go this far. I mean, I thought I was going to be able to, but it's just not for me to go that far. It literally changed to like, I can do this. I'm completely limitless. I'm going freaking all the way. And nothing's stopping me. Like, I made it through the biggest fire ever, right? Like, I felt so empowered. I felt like the badass Kathy that I was when I first started for those first 2.5 years. I was like, hell yeah, bring it. I can take anything now. Like, that's literally how I feel right now. Like, I can take anything. I can handle anything. This is why you have to work through that, guys. Trust me, it's worth it on the other side. My energy did a complete 180. I started talking about the business all the time. My team did a complete 180. It went from being like dead to like, is anybody in there? To like, whoa, holy crap. Look at all these amazing people showing up all the time. Like, all these older coaches that have been reinvigorated. I mean, come on, it's no coincidence that it just so happened as I got my mojo back. It's like, John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Oh God, it hurts. It's 2.5 years. It was a long 2.5 years, but I wouldn't be where I am today right now if it weren't for all those failures, that's for sure. I started, talking about the business all the time with like just total confidence. Like I said at the beginning, you can't make it up. You can't fake that. And now when I sit down to invite, which is what I even tell my coaches to do this, and I just hope that they're teachable. But I always say, I think it's more impactful to invite to the business first. That's my technique, is I invite to the business first. That way, if they're not interested in learning about the business, then I can fall back onto the health and fitness component with the challenge group support. Versus before, I was kind of playing it safe. I'm not going to lie. I was just kind of like inviting people to, let's just do the challenge group together. Because why would I ever want to really invite people to do the business with me if I didn't believe in me? I didn't believe in me. I didn't believe anybody else was going to be able to do it. Literally, I was like, if I can't do this, if I don't believe I can do this, then I don't really believe they can do it. So why am I going to invite them to do this with me? I'll just invite to the challenge group. Much safer bet. I would occasionally bring on some active coaches and things like that. But like I said, they never did anything. They weren't inspired to because I wasn't excited back then. So yeah, that's what I did. And I would fall back onto that. The team is having like tons of success now. I've had like my income over the past, like even just 5 months is like at least doubled. And more importantly though, is, because I have that belief in myself now, my coaches have that belief in themselves. And that's why they're seeing such momentum and rank advancements and, star diamond qualifications. I mean, people who had been stuck and plateaued for that whole time that I had been stuck in my little way were able to break through that. I was able to help them and have one-on-one calls and things like that with them to help work through their plateaus. And they've been able to get through that now and get to the next level. And it's all because I changed the story that I was telling myself and made the failures be something good and something that I absolutely needed. The business just feels easy again. Like, I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, it's a business. It's not easy, but I don't feel forced to do it. Like, I want to do it. I'm excited to do it. I have more people who are likely to say yes now because they can feel my energy and the excitement, and they're drawn to that. It doesn't matter how much money you earn. If you're not excited, like, you could be earning zero money, but like, be truly excited to be a part of this community, and you'll sign up way more people than the person who's rolling in the dough, who's just going through the motions. You know what I mean? On autopilot. The key is excitement and energy and enthusiasm. That is what draws people in. They want to be a part of that. So I just want you guys to know, before I answer these questions that I see on here popping up, if you're going through this, just know that you're totally normal. This is normal. That you're not unique in this way. The thoughts that you're having, me and Dana have both all had at one point or another. We've been through it all. We've been through it all. So you're definitely not alone in this way. We all go through the highs and the lows, even the top 10 coaches, guys, even the ones who look on in their Instagram stories like life is wonderful 24/7. Okay. They're having lows too. They're having tough times. They're having struggles, and they have to work their way through them too. And that's the only difference between the people who succeed in this business and the ones who stop and don't do anything, is that they look at the things that are happening to them and they separate themselves from what's happening. They don't emotionally attach themselves to the outcome of these things. They don't make them mean anything about them. When they get a no, they're like, I got a no, big deal. Okay, moving on. When they have someone cancel, they're like, oh, it's too bad. I guess it just wasn't for them. They don't make it mean anything about themselves. They know that it's just part of it, versus the other people, they get hung up on those no's. They think it means that they're not a great coach. They think it means that they're not cut out for this. They think that they must think I'm annoying, right? They must think I must have spammed them. Like, they don't believe in me. They can't trust me. They make it mean something. That's the only difference between people who you keep seeing breaking through all these plateaus and growing their businesses. So you have to get really good at separating. You have to get really good at separating yourself. Don't get so emotionally invested in the outcome when you're talking to people. And just be really careful, guys, with the thoughts that you're putting into your mind every single day with what's happening, because they're either going to inspire you to take action or they're not. And the good thing is, guys, is that you have full power and control over this. Literally, at any moment, you can decide that you don't want to keep telling yourself that BS story that's kept you stuck for 2.5 years like it kept me stuck. You can draw a line in the sand right now as a brand new coach 1 week in and be like, you know what? I can do this too. If they're doing it, I can do it. I'm going to be one of those successful coaches. I'm going to build a successful team. I'm trustworthy. I'm confident. And you can tell yourself these things and just tell yourself a different story to make yourself feel better. Because why waste your time telling yourself something that's going to make you feel like garbage, right? We don't want to do that. This is a marathon, right? It's all part of the journey. We're not going anywhere. I mean, me and Dana, we're going nowhere. We're going to be here forever, no matter what happens. And we want you guys to be here with us forever too, but growing. And one of the things too about just like in terms of the business building coaches and bringing people on, it all stems from that confidence piece. So you should be sprinkling that into your stories throughout the whole week, every week. You should be, no doubt. I say this, I sound like a broken record to my team, but it's okay. When you guys have like the coach opportunity events, like, we call them the coach sneak peeks, and we do them 2 times a month for our team. I don't know how often you do them, but whatever, it doesn't matter. When you do them, like, you need to get people in there listening to this business opportunity. And if you're not, you got to ask yourself, what's the reason for that? If you want to build a business that's going to drastically change your life, you need to build a team. And so why are you not willing to invite to that? That's the key to it all, is getting to that root of that problem. Because it's not that you just don't want to. It's your inner insecurities coming out with that. That's stopping you and holding you back from doing it. So we take advantage of those coach sneak peeks. I always encourage my coaches to take advantage of those too. So I'm always getting people in those, trying to bring on 4 to 5 business building coaches a month, adding things in your story all the time, putting polls in your stories for people to learn more about the coaching opportunity. I tell my team that a really good thing to do is, because you want to create FOMO for people, a really good thing to do is, on one day a week, pick a day where you decide that you're going to go into Empowered Elite and you're going to take screenshots of all the new coaches that are in there. Take screenshots of all the new coaches and be like, on your stories, I am so pumped. Like, our team is on fire. Look at all these new girls getting ready to change their life and start building their business, and just put a screenshot of them all in there. They don't need to be your people. Sorry, Dana, I'm like giving people permission to do this. She just gave me a thumbs up, so it's okay. But they don't need to be your people. I tell my coaches all the time, they don't need to be your people at all. We're all work together as a team to help each other out. That's the beauty of it. Go into the team page, take screenshots of all those people, put them up on your stories once a week, put some pumped up music to go with it, so that people are watching you saying, oh, wow, damn, that team's on fire. Look at all the girls joining. Because everybody's watching you, and they're always thinking, with everything that you're sharing and doing, they're thinking, can I do that? Should I do that? Is anybody else really doing it? So if you're never sharing other people, people are going to kind of be like, is she even running a business? What's going on over there? Yes. And then on Thursdays, I tell my team too, go in on Thursdays, right? And if there's any rank advancements, doesn't matter if they're your coaches or not, screenshot again, or hold your phone up to the team page and scroll through and put some music on, right? Like as you're doing it on your phone. And be like, these girls, they're coming in, they're teachable, they're doing the work, they got big goals, they're rank advancing. Let's all put our hands together and congratulate these girls and just do screenshots of them. And then that way, every week now, you have at least 2 days where you're sharing that new people are doing this with me. It's not just me. And not only that, but they're actually seeing success, because we have awesome systems in place that are really easy. And as long as you're teachable, I always say that word. I'm just so sick of saying it. As long as you're teachable and willing to show up and do the work, you can have success and be one of these coaches too. Yeah, exactly. Like anytime you have these, like Dana's putting in there too, like anytime you have like a call like this, like instead of just doing a screenshot of the call or not even doing it at all, like you should always snap a screenshot of this call, of these calls that you're on, any call, and do a little clip about like how this call is helping you and can help other people. Because if you just do like, team call night, love it, they're going to be like, oh God, what is this, right? You want to show other people that when they do decide to join you, that they're going to have all the tools and systems in place to help them. It's going to be like a no-brainer. their success is inevitable.
Kathy, can
Yeah.
I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
So on Instagram, because I watch all your posts, and I know you're very like, I don't know how to say it. It reminds me of Holly Hillier, because like you put it out there exactly what you're looking for. You're like, I'm looking for hardworking, passionate, like moms who want to be home with their kids type of vibe. Like you literally say what you are looking for. So can you talk to us a little bit about like how each of us could figure out how to speak to our ideal coach, like whatever kind of business you're building or person you're looking for, like how to do that, because I think you're really good at it.
Yeah. And I wasn't always good at that, by the way, guys, just so you know. When I was going through that, you know, long slump for 2.5 years, I didn't say that. It was very vague because I didn't have that confidence. It was very like, oh, we're running a coach sneak peek type of thing. I'd make a post about it. Let me know if you want to check it out. No sense of urgency, no confidence behind it, no who I'm looking for. And the thing is that like when you cast a net that broad, you don't really pull anybody in, and you're never really going to get your people unless like you specifically ask for the type of person that you're looking for. And I know, like, for example, for me personally, I work hard at this business. I mean, I've never worked harder on anything in my entire life. Like, look at me, 6 years in, I'm still up at night doing calls. It's been worth it. I love it. But I still have to work at night now, especially with the e-learning and all that. Don't even get me going with that. But that's when I have to work my business now. And so I want people who are going to work. And I wasn't confident to say that for 2.5 years when I was in my thing, because I was kind of like, So you got to kind of, this is again where you got to kind of gut check your confidence. And you got to think about who you are as a person, first of all. Like who you are as a person. And I always ask myself, you know, this question, like, you know, if my coaches showed up for their business the way that I showed up for mine, would they have success? And the answer is like, oh, hell yeah, right? Dude, we'd have a whole team of 6-figure earners and we're on our way. So you got to ask yourself, how are you really showing up though for this business, you know? And so the first thing, because you don't want to get people who are wishy-washy, okay? I would rather have somebody tell me, no, I'm never going to do this. Just stop messaging me. I'd rather have that than someone who kind of like leaves me hanging around, because I spend a lot of time and energy with new coaches. So you got to first like ask yourself like who you are, you know, like write down the characteristics of you as a person. You know, are you a hard worker? You know, are you consistent? Are you like so super busy, but you are really dead serious about your business? So you're fitting this in. You're fitting this in when you can during the day. Are you someone who has a long-term vision? Like, you know, do you really see yourself here 3 years from now? Or is this just kind of like, I'm going to give it a shot, see what happens over the next couple of months? These things make a difference. Like they really make a difference in the type of people that you're going to get. So you need to be that kind of person. Like if you want someone to show up and do the work and be on the calls, and you have to be leading from the front. So write down those qualities and characteristics about yourself. And then listen, you're not going to get a lot of traction on the coaching posts. You're going to get way less likes, way less comments. It's okay. It's totally okay. Maybe you might get one person from it. But just remember, there are a lot more eyes on you than you're getting for likes. So just don't get wrapped up in the likes. It really means nothing. It really does. It means nothing. Don't make it mean something about yourself. So write down those qualities, and then you could even like practice like drafting out, you know, like your post of what you'd say in there. You know, talk about like your vision for your business. Talk about how I'm a nurse. I mean, I'm not a nurse. This is just an example. I am a nurse and I have 2 little kids at home, but I am building this business around my schedule and fitting it in every day when I can, because I don't want to leave my kids anymore and be a nurse. I want to be home with them. And so I know that this is going to take time. Like, I know this isn't going to happen overnight. I'm a patient person. I'm willing to keep showing up and put in the work. I know that this is a real business and that it's a marathon, but I know that if I keep doing this, I know that eventually I will be able to stop that job and be home with my kids. And so I'm looking for other moms. Don't just say like, who are you looking for? You're looking for women, like specifically, are you looking for just like, I'm looking for people? I don't know. I just think it's too broad, guys. Like, I'm looking for moms or moms to be. That's who I go for. I mean, I help obviously anybody if they want to, but that's primarily everybody that I bring on is a mom or someone who's pregnant, right? Be specific with who you're looking for. Like, I am looking for the working mom who is sick of having to like leave their kids, who's willing to do whatever it takes, who's a hard worker, someone who's going to be, who's going to persevere, someone who's going to be teachable, and just don't be afraid to ask for exactly what you're looking for in that person versus just a very broad thing about coaching. Does that make kind of sense?
Yeah, I was just saying I was listening to a podcast earlier and it like had that thing that I've heard so many times, but like you forget sometimes when you want to just like find people. It's like if you talk to everyone, you're talking to no one. That's why
Right.
like who is it you want to talk to? Who do you want to attract? Like who do you want on your team? Who do you want in your challenge groups? Like we have to work to speak to those people. I'm working to shift my language on that too.
Yeah, it's so true. And sometimes it's just that slightest little shift in wording. Like sometimes it's like, sometimes you're being wishy-washy and you don't even really realize it, but you definitely don't want any kind of wishy-washy words at all. That's what I call it.
Well, I think I'm like tough love in my own mind, like and in my own life, but sometimes it doesn't come across in my post because I'm like, I don't want to sound like an asshole and offend people, Well, really.
You can even say that. Listen, I tend to give myself tough love, so I apologize in advance if I come across as an asshole right now. I promise I'm not.
Yeah, basically. Does anybody have questions for Kathy?
How do I start? Right over here, it says, how do you start your invites? Do you cold invite or form and then invite? So no. So basically, everybody that I sign up now, obviously 6 years in, they were all people that I met on social media that I built a relationship with first. And again, I don't chit chat with people for like months on end before I invite them, because again, I have that confidence where I think everybody needs this in their life, and I believe it. And I believe that it's not up to me to make that decision for somebody. I believe it's my job and all of our jobs to tell them about it and let it be up to them if they decide they want to do it or not, right? It's not, you don't know how this could significantly change somebody's life in terms of health and fitness or the financial piece. And I honestly think we're not doing our jobs if we're not inviting people every single day. I really feel like we're not. So I'll have a couple conversations going back and forth with like new people. And after like, I don't know, a handful of conversations, maybe a week, I'll say, hey, I literally pretend like I'm sitting down talking to my friend, like my best friend. So just imagine that. You have to imagine that whatever you're typing behind the screen should be exactly what you'd say in person to the person. So that's a key right there, kind of saying it out loud to yourself. And then you might hear yourself and be like, I would never say that. Okay, let's fix this a little bit, right? You want to sound like how you talk. So I might say something like, hey, I was just thinking about you because I have my next, this is in terms of like a challenge group. Hey, I was just thinking of you because we have this really awesome health and fitness online support and accountability group. And I have a new group of girls starting with us on Monday. It's been like the only thing keeping me sane since this whole coronavirus thing. I'm not sure if you'd be interested at all in working on your health and fitness with us, but would you be interested in hearing more about it? Possibly doing it with me. It's really awesome. Like, I love it. Just like really laid back and low key kind of thing like that. Or if I'm talking to somebody, I mostly try to like talk about the business. I really try to do that because I just feel like you only have so much time to work the business. I just think it's worth it to find other people who want to make an impact with you, because you can only do so much alone, right? But in terms of like the business, I might, again, I might be having the conversation back and forth. And if I have a coach sneak peek coming up, I might just say to them, listen, I've been doing this business for 6 years now. I really think that you would be amazing doing what I do as a coach. Would you ever be interested in learning more about it? That's it. Would you ever want to chat more about it? Would you ever want to hear more about what I'm doing? It's just a really quick, like 1 or 2 liner. I never send like big blocks of text. If new people though, like on Instagram, for example, if new people like a before and after picture that I post, I will reach out and I thank them. I always thank them. Like, hey, just want to say thanks so much for supporting my progress picture. It's a journey. I'm kind of animated when I talk, so I'll do like lots of exclamation points, laughing faces, the tongue out, all that stuff. Kind of like how I would be in person. Like, God knows I need the support. I literally will say that in my message. God knows I need all the support I can get right now. So please keep it coming. Were you looking to hear more about working on your health and fitness and being a part of my fit club, or were you just showing me some love? And I will say that because I want an answer from them. I want a yes or a no. I was just giving you love, or hey, let me know next month, or like, no, doing my own thing. Like, I want an answer from them. So I will, even if I've never had a message with them before, I will send them, I guess you could call that a cold message, but I kind of feel like you've come into my coffee shop. I'm going to serve you my coffee now. Yeah. I don't know if that answered that question. I'm trying to see if there's anything else up here.
I think what it was too was it, like, I know Kelly and I kind of messaged at the same time, but like it was when you were talking about how you shifted from just like inviting challengers like to your challenge group because that was easy versus straight up like just always inviting to the coaching opportunity. And I think like for me personally, that's been a hard shift to do, only because my weight loss has been so much that like that's what people like zone in on. So I don't know if that's something that you've been through too, but like how did you kind of transition it to be more about the business and not so much about like the weight loss is a bonus, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just am very open and honest with people and just say that, like, it's a journey. There's going to be ups and downs. Just because I'm a health and fitness coach doesn't mean that, I'm really not great at nutrition. Let's just be honest. That's Dana's forte. She makes a kick-ass meal. When are you coming back again? Been way too long. I'm just like upfront and honest with people about that, you don't have to like look a certain way or be at a certain weight. That was one of the myths that I had about the business when I first started. I was 35 pounds overweight. I didn't look health and fitness anything. And guess what? People found me really inspiring and relatable because I was doing something about it. I was a mom of 2 little ones at home, and I was being proactive and trying to better myself and lead by example for my kids. And so I think that like there's nothing better than you can do than besides just be real with people, because no one's ever come out and said, anything bad about it. You're just kind of putting that made up kind of story in your mind and thinking that you have to look a certain way and be a certain way in order to invite to the business thing. And here's the deal, like whatever you're sharing about is what you're going to attract. So if you're spending all your time posting about, the sweaty selfie and look at the healthy meal I posted, and even in your stories, whatever you're sharing is what you're going to attract. But as soon as you start to make that shift, and it's going to be uncomfortable, this is where I've seen some of the biggest growth though with a lot of my coaches is they've stopped doing what was comfortable and they've forced themselves to come out of that kind of comfort zone. And, because I tell them straight up, I don't candy coat. You read Dana's post. I am a straight shooter, right? If you're here and it's a hobby for you, then it's not that big of a deal if you get business building coaches. You're fine just sharing your like workouts and like your meals and stuff like that, right? You might get a business building coach over time from someone who's got awesome results with the program. That does happen 100%. But if you're someone who's like, no, I got big goals, like I want to change my life for my family, then you have to change what you're sharing about and start sharing more about the business in your post. start talking about it and sprinkling it in your stories when you can. I mean, I don't say every single day, but I have like a little theme that I follow on my, I follow it here. Let me just pull it up for a second, where I'm at least talking about it like a good 4 times a week, something about it. Let me just pull it up. But it's just and it's going to take time. Just also knowing that when you do make this shift, it's going to be a good solid 2-3 months before you start to kind of see it come to life. So it's not going to be like a change that's going to happen in 1 week. Like, I invited to the coaching opportunity this one time. I made this one post. I've been doing it for a week. It's like, you've got to make the decision and then you've got to stick with it and just keep doing it. And then trust me, 2 to 3 months later, you'll start to see that your business will change. You'll start bringing in more business building coaches. They'll be bringing in business building coaches. And then it kind of just, the ripple effect happens from there.
I liked what you said earlier, Kathy, about the having a story to follow, because I feel like it's so easy to get like, where we're always committed to something and we're always doing something, but there's not necessarily, like when you said it, it made me think like, what is the story of why I'm like working out right now? You know what I mean? Like you almost, well, really, but like you almost forget to set goals for yourself aside from like, I'm going to tackle this program from start to finish, but that's not exactly giving people something like exciting to attach to of like, I'm showing up for this right now to like preserve my mental wellness at the beginning of the school year when shit's crazy right now. And I feel like a run down mom, like, right. Like they need something to follow to like connect the dots of why they need it like we do versus like, here's the results I'm getting. And that it made me think of that with coaching as well. Like what you said about sharing a vision more. Like I need to get better about that because I'm like, people need something for you to follow. Like Haley Christian talks about that all the time where she's like, I put it out there publicly. This is something I'm pushing for. This is something I'm going to achieve. And then people watch the journey of me getting there and then watch me achieve it. And it gives them a story to follow because I'm literally publicly building that track record of like transformation and growth and change and like pursuing something. And then they watch me achieve it. And like that builds that trust with people wanting to join you and do the same thing. So I just wanted to like point that out. That was like
so true. Like you have to show people what problem in their life can be solved by either doing these workouts and being a part of your accountability groups or even coaching. You know what I mean? That's why it's so important to, like address that, like what, pain point area in their life, could be solved because of this and be sharing, same thing over and over again. You're going to feel like a broken record, but that's okay because there's going to be new people seeing you and not everybody sees your post anyways when you post them. So even if you got like 400 friends, not all 400 friends are seeing that post that you just made about the coaching webinar, I don't know.
All right. Well, since we want to respect everybody's time and it's 9:40, does anybody have any last quick question for Kathy before we hop off?
I got to get a picture before we go, guys. Hold on. We have to do evidence that this happened. All right. Is everybody ready? Okay. On 3, say cheese. I'm just kidding. 1, 2, 3. All right. You guys rock. And just remember, you have to tell yourself, my success is inevitable. I can do this. You have to tell yourself that every single day before you talk to people. Get yourself in the right mindset. And I hope that this was helpful to you guys.
Thank you, Kathy. I love the prompt for analyzing the stories we tell ourselves because it's something I've been working on a lot too. I'm like, I always catch myself in this story of something that hasn't happened yet. And like, there's a negative outcome. And I'm like, why do we do that to ourselves? Like,
I know.
So take note this week, like when you're, like Kathy said, if I told you to go invite to the coaching opportunity right now, because we have a meet the team coming up next week and we have a meet the team coming up the week to follow. So like when you sit down to write a post about coaching or sharing your stories about coaching or go invite to coaching, like what is the story you're telling yourself and see if there's some work to do. Because I feel like there's always work for us to do on mindset, right? And write it down.
That was one tip from our mentorship that we're in with Bob Heilig. That was That's the key to kind of solving that and overcoming that, is actually writing it down as you catch yourself, because your brain, your thoughts, he was teaching us that just thinking it can't solve it, that it actually like activates the part of your brain that can produce change when you actually write it down. So as you catch yourself thinking these crazy made up stories, like write it down and then turn it into a positive story. And that's how you overcome it. So
yeah,
anyways.
and I liked it. I did the, you know, the whole letting go your past section we did. I did a call for our team on that. And I liked his prompt of like, when that inner, you know, bitch or that mean girl or that like limiting stuff comes up, to say like, thank you for trying to protect me, but I got this. Like,
Yeah.
letting it know, hey, I'm in charge here. Like, I get what you're trying to do, but like, I don't need you anymore. I love
So
that.
true. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Kathy, so much.
Yes, thanks for having me, guys.
And we'll see everybody next week.
See you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.